In a small town, there was a boy named Samuel. He was bright, full of potential, and had big dreams. He wanted to become a doctor. But there was one big problem. His mind was never under his control. Samuel lacked discipline. His thoughts constantly wandered, making it hard for him to focus. Every time he sat down to study, he would get distracted by his phone, social media, or simply daydreaming. He often reassured himself, "I'll study later, there's still time," but later never came. His parents and teachers tried to guide him, emphasizing the importance of focus and discipline, but Samuel never took their words seriously. He believed that intelligence alone was enough to succeed. One day, Samuel's school announced the results of a scholarship exam. He had taken the test with high hopes, dreaming of securing the scholarship that would help him become a doctor. But when the results were revealed, he was devastated. He had failed. His friends, who had studied with dedication, passed with flying colors. The teachers who once praised him now looked at him with disappointment. Samuel felt ashamed, not because he wasn't smart, but because he knew, deep inside, that he had wasted his time. That evening he sat alone, reflecting on his failure. He thought about all the hours he had wasted on distractions and finally realized that intelligence alone wasn't enough. Without discipline, success was impossible. Determined to change, Samuel decided to seek guidance from someone who had mastered self-discipline. He had heard of a wise monk living on the outskirts of town. People said he had once been an ordinary man but had transformed his life through sheer mental discipline. The next morning, Samuel went to the monastery where the monk resided. He found the old monk meditating under a tree, his face calm and serene. Samuel bowed and said, "Master, I struggle to control my mind. I want to succeed, but I keep getting distracted. Please teach me how to discipline my mind." The monk opened his eyes and smiled. "Ah, the restless mind. That is the greatest challenge of all. Come, let me tell you a story. Many years ago, the monk began, there was a young man named Vaya who dreamed of becoming the best archer in the kingdom. He was strong and talented, but his mind was scattered. One day he would practice with great dedication, but the next he would waste time on distractions. Determined to improve, Vaya sought out a famous archery master and said, "I want to be the best archer. Please teach me." The master took Vaya to a riverbank where the water flowed steadily. Handing him a bow and arrow, he pointed to a floating leaf and said, "Shoot at that leaf." Vaya aimed and released the arrow, but he missed. The master asked, "What did you see when you aimed?" Vaya replied, "I saw the river, the trees, the sky, and the leaf." The master shook his head. "That is your problem. Your eyes see too many things at once. A true archer sees only his target, nothing else." Determined to learn, Vaya trained for months, focusing only on his target. Eventually, when the master asked again, Vaya answered, "I see only the leaf." This time, when he released the arrow, it struck the target perfectly. The monk looked at Samuel and said, "Your mind is like Vaya's. It is distracted by everything around you. If you want to succeed, you must train your mind to focus solely on your goal." Samuel nodded, understanding the lesson but still unsure how to apply it. "Master, how do I train my mind?" The monk smiled and gave him 4 simple rules. 1. Control your thoughts. Every time your mind wanders, bring it back to the task at hand. Like the archer, see only your goal. 2. Create a routine. A disciplined mind needs structure. Set a daily schedule and stick to it. 3. Remove distractions. Identify what steals your focus, whether it's your phone, TV, or unnecessary activities, and eliminate them while working. 4. Be consistent. Mental discipline isn't built in a day. It requires daily effort, just like an athlete trains his body every day. Samuel took the monk's advice seriously. He created a strict study schedule and followed it. Every time his mind wandered, he reminded himself of his goal. He stopped using social media while studying and even deleted unnecessary apps from his phone. At first, it was difficult. His mind resisted discipline, craving distractions. But Samuel didn't give up. Day by day, his focus improved, and soon he could study for hours without losing concentration. Months later, when he sat for another important exam, he was prepared. This time, he didn't just pass, he ranked at the top. Samuel's success wasn't due to luck or intelligence alone. It was his disciplined mind that led him there. He finally understood that success isn't about how smart you are but how well you control your mind. Years later, as he stood on stage receiving an award for academic excellence, he remembered the monk's words. "The mind is like a wild horse. If you don't control it, it will take you wherever it wants. But if you train it, it will take you exactly where you want to go." And from that day forward, Samuel lived by one principle: discipline your mind, and success will follow.